Hey everybody, welcome to Nightmares Anyone. My name is Richard and today it's Super Bowl Sunday. Yes, it's Sunday, February 8th. Oh my God. So, today I've got another vintage horror classic from Zebra Horror. This one's from 1987. This is Elizabeth Lloyd's Witch Child. Come right back after the intro. Hey everybody. Yeah, there's something outside. Oh my God, no. What in the hell is that? Would you guys like to be scared? Welcome to Nightmares, anyone. Let's get scared. Hey everybody, welcome back. It's me, Richard. So, speaking of, come back after the intro, those of you that haven't done so already and you find yourself coming back to the channel for more horror reviews, make sure you like, share, and subscribe right about here. That just makes sure you don't miss out on any horror content coming up. I've been really into a lot of vintage horror lately. Growing up in the 60s and 70s, was a great time, actually. Growing up in the 70s was so cool for horror because I was born in 61. I just turned 65 a couple weeks ago, but yeah, there were publishers like Zebra Horror and Leisure Books and Dell and Pinnacle and Pocket. Zebra and Leisure were my favorite ever publishers. Now, behind me, you're going to see a bunch of new books. Over the weekend, I rearranged all the books. I was going crazy, tearing myself apart, looking for two books. Let me grab the third one. God, I tore this room apart for a week, looking for the first two books to this, The Brownstone and The Bloodstone. And Larry Yance, if you're listening to this video, which I hope you are, this is the stupidest question, but Larry, I know you read all three of them. I don't remember. I didn't send you my first two books, did I? I've torn this room apart. I've gone through every box of books in the garage. I went through my paperback swap account. I hadn't swapped these books, but with those two books, last night I got online. I found two first edition paperbacks that I've ordered through Abe Books, and the other book I tore this room apart was looking for My Ghost Story by Peter Straub. Now, back to this book. This came out January 1st of 1987. Here goes the kitty. Sorry, Butters. But, so, back to this book. This book, as you can see, is from Zebra. This book was from Elizabeth Lloyd. She wrote this and the sequel. This came out 1987. And then the second one came out in 1988. Yeah. Here is the second one. Here's the first one, Witch Child. It says on the bottom, a novel of bone-chilling terror in the tradition of V.C. Andrews. Every book had to promote V.C. Andrews. They had to compare their horror compared to And then here's the second one, Witch Daughter. Great artwork on both of them. Great. So let's get into the review. But before I get into the review, I want to shout out some new subscribers. So, like I told you before, if you haven't done so already, hit that like, share, and subscribe button about right here. And here we go. I'm going to shout out some new subscribers. Let's welcome to the channel in no particular order. Let's welcome Monia, Jim Conway, AJ is Awesome 19, Chrissy Joy Cole, Scott Weekly, and Ghoul Catacombs. Cool ass channel name there. So we are going to start off with well, we're not going to start off. This is the only book I'm doing the review of. So this book had 352 pages. Very big print. Nice print. Nice print. Zebra was always great. Now, this book takes place in 1692, Salem, Massachusetts, Salem, New England, and it takes place from July 1692 to September. And it is the book about 12-year-old Rachel Gray. Now, this young girl is, okay, in the 1600s when the witch trials were sweeping across the world, mostly here in America, nobody was safe, men or women, children. And Rachel Gray, at the age of 12, she is out playing with one of her little girlfriends, and they witness something very disturbing. Now, before I get into this review, this book is a slow burn. It took me, I didn't really zip through this book, but I did not stop reading it once. It is written in the form of a 12-year-old girl's diary. She writes, the entries in the book are done like diary pages. And, you know, it has Salem, 21st July, 1692. And then as the chapters go on, it lets you know whether it's the afternoon, the evening, the morn. The reason this book took me so long to read was the dialect of the English in this book is done in a way where we don't speak like this anymore, and it was hard to get used to what they were saying or what they were talking about. But once I got into it, oh my God, this book is just incredible. So I'm going to read to you what it says on the back first. And then I'm not going to have any spoilers. This is a spoiler-free video review. So it says, the hanging of Goody Glover was worse than anything young Rachel Gray could have imagined. The rope tied around her shriveled throat, the jerking of her twisted limbs, her two black eyes staring madly straight at Rachel. The nightmares began soon afterward. The old witch was dead. Rachel had witnessed her execution, and yet at night, the scrawny face of Goody Glover rose up to taunt her, and her claw-like fingers closed in a death grip around Rachel's soft neck. Rachel woke up screaming with terror, only to feel the spirit of Goody Glover still within her, waiting to torment her again. There was no one to help her, no one to save her. Rachel had only her innocence to battle the terror that had taken over her soul. Witch child. Now, imagine being a 12-year-old kid in a sunny day playing in field with your straw doll, and you've got a little girlfriend by your side, and you guys witness something like a woman being persecuted and accused of being a witch. And the things that are said and the things that are done, if you've never seen Mark of the Devil, it's a 1970s horror classic movie that's very cheesy with the special effects, but it's a very disturbing movie. As I was reading this book, I thought of Mark of the Devil, and it just it really made me think about, you know, how we grow up today and how kids had to grow up back then. Now, Rachel's mother is a woman who has been married once before, and Rachel's new father has a 14-year-old son, and his name is Matthew. And Rachel and her brother do not really get along, but they don't hate each other. And as this little girl writes in her journal, this reminded me a lot of in the 70s, there was a novel which is now considered a literary classic. It's nonfiction. They're trying to get it banned from schools. It was called Go Ask Alice, and it was written by Anonymous. It was revealed that later it came out to be a real girl's real diary. And if you've never read Go Ask Alice, pick up a copy. The book is fucking phenomenal. And I remember reading it in junior high school, and it was so traumatic and so sad, but it was so powerful. This book could be the horror version of Go Ask Alice for today's teenagers. But if you're lucky enough to find a copy, that's the other question. Now, I'm going to read you the inside cover. It says, Ragdoll. The stairs creaked beneath my feet. All was dark below, lit only by a thread of moon seeping through the open windows. I did not need a lamp. I knew where I was going. Numbly, I seemed to float to the cupboard, and I opened the drawer. The wooden handle felt cold on my fingers, and the smooth steel of its long blade caught the glint of moonlight and shimmered silver blue. Slowly, I ran my finger along its edge. It was sharp. Dazedly, I stared at it. I remember feeling the cool breeze of night as it gently caught my gown. Mixed with the soft breeze was a whisper. Slit your throat, Rachel, slit your throat. Slit it with a knife from the kitchen. Like a leaden weight, I felt powerless to move or think. The glint of steel mesmerized me and carried me away into the caressing voices. Then I heard Mama behind me. Rachel, pray God, what are you doing with that knife? Give that to me. Give it to me this instant. Like a rag doll, I stood limply within her grasp, my head bobbing backwards and forward as her hands shook my shoulders. Now, if you were to read that, you would think, oh, wow, it's going to be, a typical, easy to read horror novel. It was not easy to read. I'll show you like the words wearer, it was shortened for wherever. There are so many words in here, like a and nay, and just tis and twas and twisn't. I don't know, still don't know what twisn't is, but it was just very different language. The dialect was very different. But when you read the words, the hanging of Goody Glover, Goody wasn't Mr. Glover's wife's name. It was the way they, what is the word I'm trying to use? That's what they called women, married women, or it was Goodman, Goody Glover or Goodman Glover. And on the back where it says, there's a part about Goodman Glover. I was gonna, dang it. I had a page in here I was going to read it. Now I lost the damn thing. But so I'm going to read a page, and this is how they talked. It says, Salem 2nd, September 1692. I shall record today's events exactly as they happened. At morning meal, so weak and wretched did I feel that Bridget White moved her entire brood to the other end of the table for fear my illness was terminal. Truthfully, I had begun to wonder so myself. Tiresome indeed, it is so true, and to always rise with nausea, and I had wondered if I should ask Mama if 'twas part of becoming a woman. Many ploys has Mama attempted to settle my stomach, but the only one which meets with any success is the sprinkling of salt upon the dry, raw piece of jerky. That makes no sense. Dried raw. The two taste like pungent hide, but my stomach accepts them. This morn, as Mama and I sat at one end of the table, I caught her watching me pensively. Uncomfortable, I said I felt well enough to do the milking and immediately rose to escape both her scrutiny and the clutter of children. However, not moments had I settled upon being myself upon the stool when Mamma appeared in the barn beside me. Leave the cow, you wretched child, ordered Mamma tonelessly. I wish to speak with you. I shall only be a minute, I said, stalling. I did not know of what she intended to converse, but I had an eerie premonition that I did not want to hear it. I wish to speak with you, she repeated. Cornflower needs the morning milking. Cornflower can wait, child. But Mama, she's ready and I'm ready too. Come now. The words are just words that we don't use in today's language or the way we speak. Now, this book affected me so much that it's not graphic, it's not extremely gory or just disgustingly disgusting, but there are scenes in here that will creep the holy hell out of you. There is a scene that takes place in Rachel's bedroom one night, and she hears the scuttling of what she thinks is a rat on the bedroom floor, and she looks up, and there is a witch in the rafters above her in her bed. And what happens is something I will never, ever forget. Now, I gave this book 5 broomsticks all the way up. I highly recommend this book. If you can find it, snag it up a copy, keep a copy. You've got to have the physical page in your hand. It's just, it's nothing like holding a zebra horror classic novel in your hands. These books were so, Zebra and Leisure published some of the best horror I've ever read. Now, I'm going to show you the second book, which is Witch Daughter. There's a young child holding a creepy, creepy doll. Now, I'm not going to read the back because it will ruin what happens at the end of this book, but I highly recommend it. Pick up a copy. You cannot go wrong with a vintage zebra classic. Excuse me, I had to cough. I edited that out though. But yeah, you cannot go wrong with zebra classics. You're going to pay for them. They're not cheap anymore. Unless you have a great used bookstore in your neighborhood, go and search the horror section, because anything you read by Zebra, I can say there were some clunkers. Now, one of my favorite Zebra horror authors of all time are Ruby Jean Jensen and William W. Johnstone, and I have all of their books right up there. I have every single one of William W. Johnstone's. I have 2 and 3 copies of some of them, and I have every single Ruby Jean Jensen book in its original first edition format, and you guys can't go wrong. But see if you can find a copy of Witch Child by Elizabeth Lloyd. Great book. Sad, but astonishing what the world was like in 1692. Would never want to relive it today, but hey, great book. I'm Richard with Nightmares Anyone. Take care. Pick up a good scary book. Have a great nightmare. And hey, wow, all these books on my wall, this whole room is full of books. And I feel sorry for people that don't read. Take care, you guys. I'm Richard. I'll see you in the next nightmare.